Welcome to another edition of Fragments of Rock. This one's a bit different because I'm not sure as I've got the right tape, to be honest with you. I was ferreting around again in the vaults, mining a deep vein of gold, and I came across this thing. I don't know if you can see it. It says "Some Chicken," and that ignited some thoughts in my brain. Number one, when I got the tape out, is some chicken on it, and I'm not sure. I wasn't sure at the time. And then the next thing ignited in my brain was the memory. See, a lot of these things are vivid in my mind. Some chicken I'm not sure about. So I thought it'd be fun if we could find somebody from Some Chicken, which is what you did, Mark, and then I could ask them because I'm intrigued.
Yes, no, it's the power of Twitter, and actually then the power of Steve Lamacq, who then also has got a copy of Some Chicken and has actually played it. I've done a bit of research on this. He's played Some Chicken 3 times, or certainly around his program time in the last sort of 7 or 8 years. So we tracked down Jess. Hi, Jess.
Hi there. Good to meet you.
So this is the tape. I know you won't recognise this bit because I've written Some Chicken on it.
Oh, right. I don't recognise it at all.
And you won't recognise that bit. You don't even recognise me, do you?
If I have, it's probably because you've changed a bit over the years.
Better looking, dear boy. So just take me back. Some Chicken, Nottingham band.
Yeah, that's right. We got together in 1977, which was obviously when punk was big, and I think were probably Nottingham's first ever punk band. And the drummer Bob, he spent a lot of time working in London, and he would come back to Nottingham and talk about what was happening in London, and so we quickly got into that kind of way of playing, fast and furious, and it was quite interesting really, because we did a recording session in the bass player's factory, because the bass player Michael worked in engineering, and we were able to sneak into his factory at night and put together this live recording, which we sent to Raw Records, who were then putting out a lot of punk music, and they said come along to Cambridge and record the single, which is the one that Steve Lamacq played, and John Peel was a fan as well, as you may or may not know.
Yes, well, we do know. It's legendary his support of you. So what I'm interested in is this is coming. I remember this arriving at my place of work, Radio Nottingham, and hearing it. See if I've got this right. I listened to the tape. I phoned Some Chicken, or somebody in Some Chicken, back straight away, and I said, "I love this. Can we do a session with you?" The answer was yes. But I then said, "Well, we don't need to do a session because this is just good enough. We can put it out as it is." What I think we should do is, can we play the first band to check that it is Some Chicken, and then perhaps you can comment on it, because somebody sent it to me.
Yeah, it's definitely Some Chicken. I recognise Mark, the singer. it sounds actually better than I thought we were. I'm surprised. I thought it would sound a lot worse than this. I don't recognise the song, but I definitely recognise Mark singing. The bass playing sounds quite good.
Yeah, the drummer's good as well, isn't he?
And the whole thing is good. When I first listened to this, I said to Mark, it can't be Some Chicken, it's too good.
Right.
What did you play, Jess?
I was the weakest link. I was the guitar player.
Oh, the only person we haven't mentioned.
Yeah.
Guitar player's really good.
That plays very good.
It sounds like there's some echo on the vocals.
John Lennon echo, isn't it, on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does sound a bit Lennon-like, that. I've no recollection of doing this recording at all.
Well, it must be you then.
It's definitely Some Chicken, and it's definitely not the one that was recorded in the bass player's factory. It's definitely not that one, because I had an email exchange with him and he said that was recorded on cassette as a live recording and sent to Raw Records, and Raw Records liked it because it was a live recording that was sent to them. And then when we went into the studio at Raw Records, they said, we just want you to do it exactly the same, just go into the recording studio and play live and we'll record it.
I'm enjoying this. This is
Weird.
Because it's weird.
Imagine what it must be like for me.
Well, exactly. I know that's. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm interested. Yeah, that's what I'm fascinated with. I feel like I feel like my dad's giving you. It's almost like a Christmas gift,
It's a bit like buried treasure that I've suddenly discovered that I'd forgotten about.
yeah. Time team. There we go. Right. So this is track 2.
Now I recognise this straight away. This is Blood on the Wall, which was the B-side. Well, the single was released. The first single was released as a double A side. This is Blood on the Wall. It's about the Manson family. I know Mark has recently read something about the Manson family and wrote this.
Brilliant. Of the time.
that is a classic punk song, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's short, it's fast, and it's controversial because it's a song about the Manson family. You know, so it kind of fits all three things that are required. But again, hearing that and hearing Mark's singing, obviously Mark's no longer with us. He died about 12 years ago. And, you know, it kind of brings that back to me as well, you know, the fact that, you know, he was in the band and, you know, he was singing, and I thought he had quite a good voice on that, to be quite honest. Yeah.
The band sound good. I think it sounds terrific.
I think, you know, the fact that we're a punk band, there was a belief that, you know, we must have been terrible, but clearly we weren't that bad.
I was quite proud of myself because, you know, being the old school, I was into all the prog rock stuff.
Yeah.
And many people into prog rock, including the musicians, said, "Oh, punk's terrible, it's a waste of time." And at first, I didn't like the image of spitting and all that.
Yeah.
Which came about. But what really triggered in my brain was, see, I'm old enough to go back to the days of skiffle. Skiffle was when people could just get together in a room and do music. By the time progressive rock and Emerson, Lake and Palmer and Yes and Genesis were on the scene, you couldn't possibly get together and make music like that.
No, it's stadium
stuff from the beginning, and that's what punk did. It gave a new beginning.
Yeah, that you're right, really, because, you know, the term garage band is people getting together in a garage and making music, and that's where a lot of it started, really. But we started off in an engineering factory.
Which one was it? I'm interested. Which one was it?
It's called Leangate.
Oh, we've heard of them.
Yeah, they're Baseford way, I think.
Do you remember playing the boat club?
Yeah, I think, I do.
Because I've got the boat club list here, and you're down as Friday the 29th of April 1977, Some Chicken New Wave Special.
Wow, Friday the 29th of April. So
29th of April.
Yeah. Did we support anyone, or we just?
It just says a New Wave Special, so whether or not the Drains. Where are the Drains? I want to meet the people from the Drains as well now. Was there a rivalry between you and the Drains?
I don't think so. I mean, I knew them well, I know that the singer was a guy from Newcastle called Don Johnson, which is an interesting name.
Yeah.
Because obviously of Miami Vice fame. It's not the same person, but I have no idea what happened to the people in the Drains now. Whether they're still around or not.
So Some Chicken recorded with Raw Records. I just fast forward so I don't miss this opportunity. And in a year later, you brought out Arabian Days.
Yeah, that's right. And I think generally most people in the band were disappointed with that. It was a case of the people that were doing the production went a bit over the top, I think. They got some new equipment in their recording studio, and with all, when people do get new things, they tend to want to use them a little bit too much. So it's the phasing or the flanging that's on it or whatever it is just like too much, and I think it really distracts from the way we were as a live band.
The version we just played you, Plug on the Wall, was that the Raw Records, or was that another version of it?
Yeah, that was before we sent anything off to Raw Records.
Right. My word, I was pogoing up and down to that at
the end. Most interesting.
What's it called?
It's called Arabian Days, and it was the second single. Not really a favourite of mine, but I remember when we used to play it on stage, it used to go down quite well because of that speed up thing at the end.
Yes,
We used to do. And I think the sax player, if that was is that what you could call it, it sounded like there was a sheep got in there, didn't it? But I think that was Mark, actually. He did have a sax, and I think he was at the time experimenting with it, and I think he just decided to play a bit of sax on that. But we never had him playing sax at gigs. I think he just did it for the recording. But yeah, interesting and fascinating to hear it.
Yeah, so that's pre going to Raw Records and doing it then.
I'm pretty certain it's pre going to Raw Records. You know, and you know, this is probably, I mean, if we were playing those gigs in April 1977, which is very early 1977,
yeah,
you know, this would even be before that. You know, this might be like January or January 77, very early on in 77.
Yeah,
and,
I'm glad you said that, because I was worrying about the way the dates coincided, because it seemed, and that, well, you just confirming what I thought. Yeah, great.
Yeah, you know, they do sound a lot more unformed than the singles, you know.
But that's what makes it so good.
It is. It's great. It's great to hear them, and you know, there's still quite a lot of interest in Some Chicken, and you know, some people read my book and have said, you know, you need to bring out an EP.
Yeah.
And until now, I don't think there's been any material. You know, so it might be possible that if these are good enough quality, then we could perhaps do something with them.
Last track then, Mark.
Country boy at heart, don't give a damn, don't give a fuck. Wake up the lights, girl, bring me a dream, girl, bring me a dream. Open up my garbage, make the ladies squeal their whiskey. Oh, what a show, oh what a deal. Oh, smash it so, you can feel.
Great, lovely.
Interesting. I remember that one. It was I would say it's almost like a comedy song, because it was based on Stretch and Seal. Do you remember that stuff? It was the old name for cling film.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So you know, I'm not quite sure what else that song was about, but an interesting song. I think we only ever performed it a few times on stage.
Wow.
But yeah, great to hear it.
It's got those Jake Bug kind of it's got the Jake Bug riffs, so I can imagine it's covering that. Let's get it on.
Somebody said they could imagine him playing me in if they made my book into a movie.
Ah, there you are.
With Shane Meadows directing.
Apart from Mark, obviously. I mean, is the rest of the band still around?
Yeah, they're still around. Obviously, due to the pandemic, I've not met them, but we meet twice a year, and again, they were really helpful when it came. I met them when we went out for a curry or something, and I said, you know, I put so much information together about what happened in '77 that I'm thinking about writing a novel about it, and they came up with a load of things that I'd completely forgotten. You know, for instance,
part of this session.
exactly. That's right. And you know, because of the book, because of you know, I think people at a certain age are getting nostalgic for punk, I think there's an element of people being interested in listening to some more of that material. So, you know, it might be worthwhile to put together an EP or something. I was very lucky. I was able to buy on eBay a tape that Raw Records were selling on eBay. They auctioned it off on eBay, and the bass player Michael, I phoned him and told him that it was on eBay, and I wasn't really very experienced and didn't really understand eBay, but he said buy it at all costs, you know. So I ended up paying a ridiculous amount for this cassette, but I thought I've just got to have it, and it's actually got 2 extra tracks on it that were never released and were recorded at Raw Records. So we've got a bit of material there, and if we could have, say, you know, a couple of tracks from this tape, it might be a useful EP that people might be interested in.
Yes, lovely to talk to you.